I, Georg Wilhelm Friedrich Hegel, must analyze this phenomenon through the lens of my dialectical understanding of world history and the development of spirit, Geist. Trump represents a fascinating moment in the dialectical progression of political consciousness, though perhaps not in the direction many might assume. In my philosophy of right, I established that the rational state must represent the concrete realization of ethical life, Sittlichkeit, where individual freedom and universal interests achieve synthesis. Trump's presidency appears as a moment of contradiction, what I would term a negative moment, in the dialectical development of American democratic institutions. His emergence represents the antithesis to what many perceived as an established liberal democratic order, but this very contradiction may serve the larger movement of spirit. The phenomenon of Trump clearly demonstrates what I termed the cunning of reason, List der Vernunft. While individual historical actors may pursue their own particular interests, in Trump's case, personal power and acclaim, they unknowingly serve as instruments for the broader development of spirit. His presidency has forced American society to confront fundamental contradictions within its political institutions and civil society, potentially leading to a higher synthesis. What is particularly striking about Trump from my philosophical perspective is how he embodies what I would call abstract negativity, a form of opposition that doesn't yet contain within itself the seeds of positive resolution. His approach to governance often displayed what I would term the understanding, Verstand, rather than reason, Vernunft, dealing in fixed oppositions rather than comprehending the deeper unity of apparent contradictions. In my phenomenology of spirit, I described the dialectical progression of consciousness toward absolute knowing. Trump's relationship to truth and reality presents an interesting case of what I termed sense certainty, the immediate, unreflective grasp of reality that hasn't yet developed into genuine understanding. His tendency to rely on immediate intuition rather than mediated, rational knowledge represents a regression from the more sophisticated forms of consciousness that modern political life requires. However, we must remember that in my system, every negative moment contains within itself the potential for its own overcoming, Aufhebung. The tensions and contradictions that Trump's presidency brought to the surface, between individual and collective interests, between democratic institutions and populist impulses, between truth and power, may serve as necessary moments in the development of a more concrete and rational political order. Therefore, while Trump himself may represent a moment of unreason in political life, the very contradictions he embodies may serve the larger progressive movement of world spirit toward greater self-consciousness and rationality. This is the profound irony that my dialectical method reveals. Even apparent regression can serve the forward march of spirit in history.